So Flow Designer is also used to automate the process. Okay. Flow Designer is also used to automate the process. Okay. Guys, most of the people think that Flow Designer is actually a replacement of workflow. No, guys. Flow Designer has its own purpose. Flow Designer has its own purpose. And then workflow has its own purpose. Okay. Comparatively, workflow, the Flow Designer is more powerful feature in ServiceNow. It is actually one of the most powerful feature in ServiceNow, guys. It is also used to automate the process. So it is a low code platform, guys. It is a low code. So so far we have created business rule, we have created scheduled job, we have created workflows. Oh, we have done so many things, right? So all these like business rule, you can write it without scripting. Okay, business rules you can write it without scripting. And scheduled jobs you can write it without scripting. Workflows you can write it without scripting. Okay. Flow designer can be used as business tool. Guys, remember, this is very important. It can be used as business tool. It can be used as scheduled jobs. It can be used as scheduled jobs. Okay. So it can be used as um, inbound email action. It can be used as inbound email action. It can be used as workflow. It can be used as workflow. Okay. Mm, scheduled job, inbound email actions, workflow. It can also be used as transform maps. It can also be used as transform map. It can also be used for integrations as well. So guys, it can do multiple things, guys. Flow designer can do multiple things, guys. Okay. 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 First, we will see how the flow designer will work as business tool. Then we will see how the flow designer will work as scheduled job. Then we will see how flow designer will work as inbound email action. Then we will see how the flow designer will work as workflow. Okay. Got it, right? Okay. Fine. So guys, as I told you, Flow Designer is used to automate the process. It is a low code platform. Okay. So it is a low code platform. It can be used as business tools. It can be used as scheduled jobs. It can be used as inbound email actions. It can be used as workflow. It can be used as transfer map. It can be used for integrations as well. Okay. So now I am going to open the personal developer instance. Okay, fine. To type of flow designer here. So guys here, so we are creating a flow designer now. Okay. So here in the flows, you can just click on new flow here. You can click on new flow here. You are creating a new flow designer. Guys, in the flow designer, trigger is actually the main part. Trigger is actually the main part, guys. Remember, in the flow designer, trigger is very important. Okay. So I am actually creating a flow designer called create incident. Create incident. Okay. Just click on build flow here. Already create incident is already there. Okay. Create HR case. Create HR case. Okay. So when you are creating the flow designer, first you have provided the flow designer name. Then this trigger plays key role here, guys. This trigger will decide if it should act as business rule, if it should act as scheduled job, if it should act as, okay, if it should act as inbound email action, if it should act as workflow, if it should act as inbound email action, or if it should act as integration. So this trigger will decide. This trigger will play key role here, guys. So here in the trigger, you have primarily three type of triggers: record based trigger, scheduled based trigger, and application based trigger. In the triggers, you have primarily three type of triggers, guys. Remember, in the triggers, we have three type of triggers: record based, scheduled based, and application based. Okay. So we have three type of triggers. So, well, here, when the incident is created, I want to create a HR case record, guys. Okay. Whenever the incident created, or we'll do one thing. Okay. Whenever the incident created, Want to create a HR case record. Okay. So here, whenever the incident created, so I have kept the trigger point here, created. So created, updated, created or updated. I am selecting created here. Okay. So in the advanced condition, so first of all, run for both interactive and non-interactive sessions. Okay. Run for both interactive and non-interactive sessions. Okay. So run for both interactive and non-interactive sessions means, well, if the record is created by logging into ServiceNow or without logging into ServiceNow also, if you create the incident record from the external systems, the flow designer will be triggered. Remember. So by logging into ServiceNow, you can create incident. By without logging into ServiceNow also, you can create incident, guys. How can you create incident without logging in? By sending an email from external system, you can create the incident record from external system also, right? Suppose let us say you created a record in the Salesforce, that record will be created in ServiceNow also. That is a non-interactive session. Interactive session means if you log into ServiceNow, if you create the incident, that is a interactive session. So this flow designer will run for interactive and non-interactive sessions both. For every user, this flow designer will run. Let us say for only Uday Gadiparthi, this flow designer should run. Then what I will do, I'll mention the condition here that only if Uday Gadiparthi has triggered this flow designer, only then this flow designer should run. That is what the only run if the triggered by following user. Only Uday Gadiparthi triggers this flow designer, it will run. Do not run if the triggered by following users. Do not run if the triggered by following users. Run for any user. For everyone, this flow designer will be triggered. Okay. So run on the current table, run on the current and extend table. If the flow designer should also run for child tables as well. Okay. If the flow designer also should run for child tables as well. So what you will do is you will select run on current and extend table. So if the flow designer should not run on child tables means you will select run only on current table. Okay. So if the flow designer should run synchronously, then what you will do is run flow in the foreground. Foreground means synchronous. Background means asynchronous. Background means asynchronous. So out of synchronous calls and asynchronous calls, which one is good practice, guys? Okay, fine. So if the flow designer should run in the asynchronous, then you have to use asynchronous call. Yeah. So when the incident created, I want to create a HR case record. So how do you create the HR case record, guys? Normally, you tell me. How do you create the HR case record normally? So using glide record. So using glide record, you will actually create the HR case record. Guys, in the flow designer, you don't have to write scripting. You don't have to write glide record. So you can use an action called create record action. Create record action is nothing but glide record without script. Okay, create record. On which table you want to create the record? HR case table. You will select the table name as HR case. So you have to fill other field values as well. Okay. Caller. So caller should be here. I want to populate incident caller. Guys, these are called data pills. So this is trigger, guys. These are actually trigger data pills. So you have selected trigger, right? So these are trigger data pills. In the trigger data pills, you are getting incident field values. So incident caller, you are passing into HR case caller, guys. Incident caller, you are passing into HR case caller. Okay. Configuration item. So incident configuration item, you are passing into HR case configuration item. Okay. Short description, description, assignment group. Okay. Instead of using these data pills, this is called a data pill picker, guys. This is called a data pill picker. You can use this one trigger. In the trigger, in the incident record, what is the value that you want? In the trigger, in the incident record, short description value, right? Short description. This is called data pill picker. You can drag it from here, you can drag it here, or you can just dot work here. Description. Okay. So here it will act like a glide record, guys. It will act like a glide record. Okay. So then what you will do, you will first save the flow designer. This flow designer will act as business rule, guys. This flow designer will act as business rule because you have selected the condition here as created. Trigger you have selected as created. If you select a trigger as created, updated, created or updated, it will act as business rule. Okay, fine. You activate the flow designer. Okay, this flow designer is activated. Okay, we'll do one thing. There is a one more field called incident field, right? In the HR case, there is a one more field called incident field. That incident system ID you will pass here. Okay, fine. So now what I'm doing, I'm going to create an incident record in the incident table, guys. So you created an incident, guys. Once the incident is created, Flow Designer will be running. It will actually create a HR case record in the HR case table. We'll go and see in the HR case table if a record is created or not. Why it has created multiple records? So many records are created, right? Configuration item, assignment group, short description, description populated, which is fine. And incident number also should have populated here. Incident number is also populated here. We will create one more incident record. We will see why multiple HR case records are created. We'll see how many HR case records are created. Oh my God. Ajay Kumar, right? With the Ajay Kumar, how many HR case records are created? We will see. So these many are created. We will see the flow executions, guys. Flow executions means how many times a flow designer is triggered. Okay. So this flow designer is triggered so many times. Is there any other flow designer on the HR case table? This is only the one. So in the flow executions, we have seen this is getting triggered multiple times. We have to change the flow settings. Run only on the current table. I mentioned that it should not run on the child tables. We'll see how many HR case records are created just now. So multiple HR case records are created now. The RAM are, what could be the reason? So 22 are created. It is supposed to create one, right? When the incident is created, we have to create the HR case record. Okay. Is there any business rule on the flow designer is getting triggered multiple times, guys? I think that is might be because of the business rules. We deactivated all the business rules. Could be the reason this is actually triggered multiple times. It is getting triggered multiple times. I'm creating a new incident record now. The configuration item is this one. Short description as test 5678, test 34567. The assignment group, saving this one. Okay. Then we will see the HR cases. You can see just now so many records are created. Created just now. Who is the color that we selected here? 734 records are created. How come 734 records? All the business rule are inactivated. What exactly are running on the uh, exactly is running? So we will deactivate this flow designer and check how exactly this is running and now. We have deactivated this flow designer. We'll create one more incident record. So we have created one more incident record and we will see if it is still creating any HR case record or not. Okay. So guys, that is not because of the flow designer, guys. In the incident table, there is actually another script that is running. You can see here. I'm going to refresh this one. Okay, there is another script that is running. In the incident table, there is another script that is running. Okay, now I'm actually trying to create a second incident. Okay, we'll go to the HR cases. We'll see how many HR cases are created. Now it hasn't created. No. I'm going to activate this one. I confirm that that is because of flow designer only, guys. I confirm that that is because of the flow designer only. This flow designer is getting triggered multiple times. Once the HR case record created, I deactivated all the business roles. In the business roles, I have deactivated all the business roles. No active business role are here. All business rules are inactivated. This day is not our day, guys. This flow is getting triggered somehow multiple times. Yeah, we'll see that. Again, it has triggered multiple times. Again, it has triggered multiple times, guys. Mm. You give a try in your personal developer instance, guys. If it happens the same, we'll look into it. Okay, you can just give a try in your personal developer instance. Select the trigger as created, and you can select the table as incident. Once the incident is created, and you have to create a HR case record. So normally you use glide record. In place of glide record, what we have done, we have used create record action. Guys, for CRUD operations in the flow designer, you don't use glide record. For the CRUD operations in the flow designer, you don't use glide record. You use create record action. You can use update record action. Update record action. Okay. So you can use update record action. So you can use delete record action. So you can use delete record action. Okay. You can use lookup record. Lookup record is used to read the records. Okay. To read the one record. Okay. Lookup record is used to read one record. So lookup records is used to lookup records is used to query to read multiple records, guys. For CRUD operations, we use create record action, update record action, delete record action, lookup record action. Lookup record is for one record. Lookup records is actually for multiple records. To read multiple records, we'll use lookup records. And you can also use send email to compose the email notification, to compose the fresh email notification. You use send email action. So from the flow designer also you can send the email I told you, right? You can use send email action. And here I am using send notification action. Send notification, difference between send email and send notification is that send email means composing a new email from zero. Send notification means sending the system notification that we created here. So we create the system notifications, right? System notification. Whatever the notifications that we created here, these system notifications you will select here in the send a notification. Okay. So these system notifications you will select here. You have to select the system notifications here. Okay. So these are actually ServiceNow provided actions. These are actually out of the box flow designer actions. If you want to create a new action, if you want to create a custom action, so I created date difference custom action. Okay. Created, I think in this personal developer instance, I did not create look like date difference action. Okay, you can create custom actions as well, guys. These are whatever we have seen are actually called service now provided out of the box actions. If you want to create a custom action, you can create a custom action as well. Okay. So guys, here if you select the trigger here, created, updated, created or updated, it will act as business rule. It will act as business rule. Okay, fine. Guys, remember, you will create the record only one time. You will update the record multiple times. Isn't it? Agree or not? You will create the record one time. You will update the record multiple times. Okay. So if you select updated here, if you select updated here, okay, in the flow trigger, if you select updated here, it will ask you once or for each unique change, only if not currently running, for every update. Okay. So guys, remember, this is very important. This is very important. Here, if you select for each unique change, it will act as it will act as workflow. If you sorry, if you select only once, it will act as workflow. For each unique change, it will act as business rule. If you select only once, guys, this will act as workflow. This will act as workflow. If you select for each unique change, it will act as business rule. If you select for every update, it will act as business rule. If you select for only if not currently running, it will act as workflow. When you select once, only if not currently running, it will act as workflow, guys. If you select for each unique change, it will act as business rule. For every update, if you select, it will act as business rule. So business rule will be triggered multiple times. Workflow will be triggered only once. I told you. Do you remember that? Do you remember when I teach a workflow topic? I told you business rule will be triggered multiple times. When you try to change the short description, that short description will be changed in the associated incident for multiple times. But if you use workflow, it will change only one time. Okay. Workflow will not be triggered multiple times. Workflow will only be triggered once. If you select once here, it will act as workflow. If you select for each unique change, it will act as business rule. If you select only if not currently running, it will act as workflow. If you select for every update, it will also act as business rule. So either you have to use this one or this one. Okay. So that it will act as business rule. If you select once, it will act as workflow, guys. So if you select when created or updated, okay, if you select once, it will act as workflow. If you select for each unique change, it will act as business rule. If you change only if not currently running, it will act as workflow. If you select for every update, it will act as business rule. Okay, understand, right? Once means it will act as workflow, guys. Got it or not?
Okay. So remember, this is very, very important. When you created the flow designer, selecting the trigger is actually very important. If you select the trigger point as created or updated, and if you select for every unique update, it will act as business rule. If you select created or updated, if you select once, it will act as workflow. Okay. So after that, after the trigger is met, these actions will be running. So these actions like create record action, these CRUD operations, you can do it using actions in the flow designer, guys, without scripting. So create record, update record, delete record, lookup records. These are actually CRUD operations. So without using CRUD operations, you are using um, you are using uh, these actions. Okay. So this is how the flow designer will act as business rules and workflows, guys. In tomorrow session, we'll understand how the flow designer will work as, um, how the flow designer will work as scheduled job. Okay, everyone, is that clear? So here in the business rule, you have current object and previous object, right? So in the flow designer, you can get the previous values from here. Changed fields. So you can see, you can get here previous value, current value, previous display value, current display value. Remember here. So like in the business rule, you can get the previous object, right? In the flow designer also, you can get the previous values here in the changed fields. Okay. From the trigger, you can get the previous values. Okay. Any questions from anyone? So guys, you can use flow designers in place of writing business rules. You can use flow designers. Is that clear, everyone? So global variables that we'll be discussing in tomorrow session, Nusha. Okay. Let me unmute everyone. I have unmuted everyone. Somebody has asked a question. Krishna, if you are pretty much interested in writing scripting, then you have to go for business rule. So you feel that I am good at scripting, and scripting is my passion, then you will go for business rule. Okay. No, no, I don't want to write scripts and I will use Flow Designer without scripting. I want to achieve it means then you can use Flow Designer, and in Flow Designer also runs asynchronously, right? You can use Flow Designers also. Okay. So, guys, remaining maximum 3 to 4 topics are left, guys. Okay. Apart from the flow designer, reports and dashboards, and SLA definitions topic, I think remaining. Okay. We'll mostly complete it as soon as possible. Okay, guys. We'll see you there in tomorrow's session. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you all.